And this meeting is being recorded, but it's private for MultiPOD, so no one else will see this recording but myself for the evaluation. So right now we see everyone's having their camera off. Hi, Claudia.
Hi, nice to see you both. Okay, good to see you again. Okay, yeah. We want everybody to meet everybody and not just listen to the voices. So please, unless you are in a big pajamas and with your curlers, also men, okay, with your curlers. I put my curlers today. We would like everybody to see you. Hey, Catherine, how are you? Nathan, my friend, we need more light. No, that's okay. You're okay now. And who else? Excellent. Oh, Ajudeji, how are you? Okay, she disappeared. Natalia, finally. You're in the Netherlands still? Oh, you cannot answer. You're saying
yes. Yes, I'm in the Netherlands, yeah.
Okay, excellent. Ayodeji, we have read what you have written, and it's really, really nice. Eh? You are one of the best, and you know that. Catherine, Kenna, she's in Alberta. Amalie.
Amalie emailed me that she doesn't have a camera or mic on this computer at work.
Hi, Noah, how are you? Okay, excellent.
Hello, good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to wait. Well, it's already 11:05. Will you indulge us and we can wait 2 more minutes until we have 12 people? Please nod and say yes, that you will.
Okay, sure.
Okay, thank you. 2 minutes. Okay. If nobody joins the next 2 minutes, we start. You can look at my fish. In the meantime, I'm so proud. And Catherine already knows this guy, Felipe el Hermoso. Yeah, it's a better fish that has to be by himself, because otherwise he will attack every other fish. Okay, let's start. Well, first, welcome everybody. Thank you for being with us today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I would like to share with you a presentation, and we will move a little bit fast because I would like for you to have more time to talk. So what we are going to do, this is the second forum that we're having. We had another one 10 days ago, and it went very well. And this is your meeting. This is a multi-audience forum. The objectives, the first one is for you to tell us what went on, if you were satisfied with your mentorship, what went wrong, what is right, and give your advice. That part is going to be coordinated by Charlie. And because I want you to be free to say everything you want to say, I'm going to leave. And then I will join you again 10 minutes before the end of the forum to listen to some of the feedback. If not, I just look at the recording, but to give you another message at the end. Then we need your brains to tell us what to do. We have already had 5 years experience with the program, and it has been quite successful, despite the fact that we only ask people to participate for 7 sessions, because people are very busy. And because if you have an intensive meeting with your mentor, it would be like, I don't know, 1 week of advice. And then the last point, one of the reasons we founded MultiPOD is because in the long term, we want to have a network of people from all the different generations, different disciplines, and different countries. This is the agenda, and we have already covered the first one. The forum, you will have more than half an hour, and we will give you even more time. And then if you want, and if there's time, you can ask me questions, and then we'll have conclusions and next steps. I'm going to give you a 5-year summary of the program. Thus far, we have 267 people who have passed through the program. And next year, we limited to 80 people, 70 new ones. And the ones of you who want to continue can do so, or you can join us at a later date. But we always reserve some space for people who want to didn't accomplish what they wanted to do, or they have a question, etc. The main mentors, well, first the mentees, the majority are females because that's what is happening in global health and public health, in medicine, everywhere. The main mentors, we now have almost a half and half balance, more than 50 disciplines. And what we like is that not all of them are related to health. We have lawyers, we have engineers, we have even one astronomer for the next phase of the global health. 59 languages, and this is important, we have more than 120 academic institutions. This is the distribution by regions, and then the number of countries. And as you can see, in most of the continents, we have about half of the countries. And this is what we have at the worldwide level. Half of the countries are represented where you were born, where you're studying, or where you are working. And we need more people from all of the regions. Then the 5 generations. I'm from the World War II generation, and there's another mentor from that generation. Most of the mentors are baby boomers and Generation X. And this was the first year where some of the former mentees became mentors. And also would like to know your experience by having a younger mentor, somebody who is almost your age, or only 5 or 3 or 10 years younger, older than you. And we already have, and here my friend, Mr. Ruud, is already one of the ones representing Generation Z. And we expect to have a new generation in the 2030s. Plus, I invited somebody as an honorary member because she was born in 1924. So I wanted to have 6 generations at least for one time. Now, let me tell you what is the vision, the wish list, basically. And look at the 2 points. We want to have a comprehensive scope, not only global health and human development, but we have added environmental protection. And this is the essence of planetary health. And then the long-term objective is that some of you will become mentors at some point in your life. And we would like for you to do that, to transfer your experience and your knowledge. From the operational viewpoint, again, look at the 2 ones in bold. This program is a little bit different because you can have access to multiple mentors and other mentees. And I think Catherine Nordar has had 6 people who she has consulted, plus a few former mentees. You can have that. And then what I mentioned before, the future transgenerational, interdisciplinary, multi-country collective intelligence. And I call it Earth Group because you will be working on planetary health and development and protection. Oh, okay. So I'm going to stop here because I'm going to talk later about the the network. But I didn't want to distract you, and I am going to leave you now with Charlie, and this is your meeting. Okay, so you'll see, and I will come back when Charlie lets me in, and I hope she lets me in at the end of the session. Okay, thank you and have a good time. And please give us your feedback. And we want the good and the bad and the ugly, whatever, whatever you want to tell us, because we really want to improve this program. We want to be the best. Okay, and you can help us do that. Thank you. Bye. Well, soon. I see you later.
Thank you, Dizzy. Hi, everyone. So thank you so much for joining today. Yeah, so last time, 10 days ago, we had already a very successful feedback session, and everyone was very honest and genuine. And we also had some criticisms as well, very constructive. So everything was very useful. So I hope like everyone can feel the it's a safe space to share this. And I will summarize to DZ, and I won't attach the name to your feedback. So it's all like very anonymous. So yeah, I would like to maybe, if anyone is ready, please raise your hand and let me know if you would like to share your experience with MultiPOD. If I don't see any hands, but I know Nathan the most, so I would like to invite Nathan if you're ready.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Nathan. Yeah, MultiPOD mentee. Yeah. In the beginning, I really enjoyed it. My mentor, I had a couple conversations with DZ, I think you referred to him as, about, yeah, just like, so for context, I study economics, finishing my undergrad degree right now, and want to go into public health and health policy. And he matched me up with one of his longtime colleagues at the Pan American Health Organization in epidemiology. And so at first, it was interesting because we had some good conversations, but it was throughout the process, I think what I learned most from it is like, I don't always know how to ask for what I want, or sometimes I personally have challenges maybe identifying what exactly it is that I do want, and then getting to the point where I can ask for it. And then that got kind of exacerbated later on, especially this fall semester, once I came back to in-person university. My mentor kind of quit responding to me. I sent multiple outreaches and via email, and just most times didn't really get a response. I think I got a response from him like once. It was just like kind of an intermittent update on like, yeah, I'm alive, things are going, hope we can talk soon. And then I tried to follow up and kind of got radio static a little bit. So in addition to that first lesson that I personally learned from it, of like, I don't always know how to ask for what I want, I would say, I think the focus at the beginning of the program on like just checking in, making sure things are going fine is really strong. I think I would have benefited from a little bit more of that, like in the middle of the program, because that's when things kind of fell off for me personally. And that was the kind of point where I'm like, what's happening? I don't really know what to do. I don't like, and it was hard for me to find that time to sit down and think about what do I want next, because by that point in the semester, it was like, I got assignments to finish. I got my capstone to write. I got master's degree to finish applying to. Yeah, so I think a little bit more support from program administration, especially later on, would have been personally helpful for me. A majority of what I learned, though, wasn't necessarily from my mentor. It was kind of the circumstances in which my mentor kind of went MIA, and then I kind of realized things about myself.
Thank you for sharing, Nathan. Do you think there was a good match between you and your mentor? And do you think like you had like in between the process, you thought about maybe I can email Fernando and to see if I can also have another mentor? Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, that's a good question. I thought my mentor match was interesting. in the long run, I think it ended up being a good match. I met with Fernando once, like kind of in between the 3 or 4 meetings I was able to have with my mentor, and he gave me some advice on like, you know, here are things you can try the next time, which I thought was really helpful. In terms of matching with other mentors, that's kind of where I was kind of in that loop around, like, I don't know how to ask for what I want, because I knew like, okay, maybe asking for someone else might have been more helpful for me, especially as other things got busy, just trying to find someone maybe that schedules aligned a little bit better. That being said, it was a little challenging for me to kind of build up the initiative to do that, because that mentors list was really long, and every time I saw it, my brain went, a lot of information. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yes, and Amali also messaged in the group that she wrote, I know some people have difficulty organizing meetings with the mentors. I think what helps is that we're able to meet with more than one mentor. I understand people want standardization of the, where is it? Of the mentoring they receive. At the same time, I think individualization of the program to mentees is essential for its success. An in-person summit would be an excellent way of bringing people, all the mentees and mentors together if it is possible. Yes, so we actually had 2 net waiving webinars events over Zoom in the past month. And let me know if you didn't receive the email, then I can check if you are in the mailing list, because I think we have everyone in the mailing list. So feel free to email me if you didn't receive that net waiving event invitation. And also feel free to also reach out to me or DZ to ask for the list of the mentors. So then for their profile, so also like you can see who are the other mentors they're interested in, and you can email them, and you can always see if they have like 30 minutes to chat with you, and if you can also start a mentorship with them. Yeah, and Claudia, I see you raise your hand.
Thanks, Charlie. And yeah, echoing a lot of what Nathan said, but just to give some context, so I was on the program nearly 2 years ago now. So just sort of at the start of COVID, and in my experience, I was quite lucky because I was matched with a mentor that lives 2 minutes away from where I live, which was, yeah, just really kind of not what I expected, but we still kind of, I think that definitely added to kind of the convenience and the ease and sort of scheduling meetings and kind of developing that relationship. But like what I know from mentorships also is, in the long term, your needs and sort of aspirations from mentorship programs, they kind of change. And, you know, someone who might be a good fit at the beginning of a program might not be a fit in like a year or so. So I think even like beyond sort of the program, I think there's the need to kind of reevaluate and perhaps sort of foster more of that kind of those sort of informal opportunities to get together with kind of cohorts more often and with different mentors as well. But I think that's kind of, yeah, just one reflection from me. And then I think one thing to stress is, like, for me, I found it quite useful having opportunities to kind of informally get together with like people like Sue Griffiths and as well, who's another principal mentor, but she does a lot of kind of, from on a personal capacity, does a lot of training. So really kind of spotlighting and showcasing those opportunities as well would probably be really useful for sort of a larger number of the group, because I mean, I'm not sure how many of you are kind of aware of these kind of sort of different mentor times that she offers throughout, like on a weekly basis as well, which has been really fantastic. But yeah, I think just generally it's been a really, really great experience. But I think even perhaps sending out an evaluation also to mentees on how it's going with their mentor would be like really useful, because I don't think, when I did the program at least, maybe it's something that's being done right now, but I don't remember at the time evaluating like how the first few weeks or the first few sessions went when I did sort of start the program. But yeah, that's it from me.
So you mean like evaluation that's being sent out after a few meetings with the mentors, like we ask the mentees how it is going?
Yeah, just those kind of check-ins I think would be also quite useful, so that you can kind of catch some of those maybe issues if the match is not perfect, because you never know from, before they actually meet how it's really going. So yeah.
That's a great idea, yes. Nathan wrote, I agree with this. I could understand why there would be a lot of logistical hurdles, yet if it ended up working out, I would gain a lot from that. You mean the in-person meetings? Yes, yeah, so it's also a thought under construction that we want to have hubs in different cities, different regions, so that maybe in the future we can also have like actual networks and hubs and meetups that happen in different cities. Okay, so Uchena Ibello, would you like to share your, yeah, hi.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so Sue was my mentor actually, and that went really well. I was in the program, I think maybe 3 years ago, 2017. So actually 4 years ago. And so, so she was really helpful. I kind of had the same problem Nathan had as far as like knowing what I wanted and knowing how to articulate that and like be clear with what it was I wanted to get out of the program. So that was sort of the challenge in the beginning, but Sue was really helpful as far as like helping sort of think things through. And so one thing that was really that I benefited from was just having like set meeting dates. So what we did was we set our dates for having our meetings in advance. I think it was like maybe twice a month that we were meeting, but just because it was like all set up right up at the front, we kind of had we knew what to expect from each other. And that was one thing that was really helpful. And then I haven't really been in touch with Sue since then, but I know like I could be if I wanted to. Like we are on each other's LinkedIn and stuff. So I think just knowing that you have that access to those mentors after you've done the program, I think is another really helpful thing. And I think that's sort of the main 2 points I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any advice for MultiPOD that we can do better?
No, I think it was, yeah, I mean, I guess just having regular communication like as a bigger group might be something that would be helpful. Or I think just the webinars and things that you have as well, just more of those things would be helpful as well, I think. One thing that we did was, it was last year, I think in the summertime, and DZ managed to get us a webinar with someone who worked, I can't remember where they worked, but they knew, like they had a good understanding of like what to expect with COVID. And so we had like an information session that we got to listen in on. And it was funny because every single thing he said is exactly what has happened over the last 2 years. So like stuff like that, I think is really helpful. So yeah, I just would say more like professional development or webinar or education sessions mixed in with the mentoring sessions. And then also just like, I don't know, making it more of a requirement that or advice to give to mentees would be to like make it a requirement to set up your meeting times in advance so that everybody knows like this is when we're meeting, and it's in everybody's head that they're accountable, that they have to have their meeting with your mentor at this date. So I don't know, that would be what I would have to offer.
Yeah, I think that's a great suggestion. I think it was Dr. David Navarro from WHO, the special envoy for COVID.
Yeah, that's who it was.
Yes, yeah. It was a really great webinar, and I'm happy to hear that you really enjoyed it. And I think I will definitely bring it up to DZ again, that it would be really beneficial for everyone if we could invite more guests, speakers, and have more like webinars where we have experts, or we also have more netweaving events that people would, like the MultiPOD mentees would really enjoy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes. How about Ayodeji? Are you ready?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, I can.
So I just completed the program this year. So I had a good experience. So my mentor was quite hands-on, and we had monthly meetings because of my schedule. So I think she wanted twice a month, but we settled for once a month because I have a very busy schedule. So it was quite nice. And I think what helped for me to really gain a lot out of the journey was having a plan at the beginning of what I want to get from the program. So, and the mentor helped me to kind of tease that out. And MultiPOD sent out a document in the beginning about what do you want to get out of this. So we started from that document, and one thing that really helped was the mentor asking me to develop like a timeline for what I wanted to achieve over the 9 months. So I had like a proper chart of everything I want to achieve each month. So that was good to drive the discussion at each meeting, and then also to track progress and all the things that my mentor asked me to do along the way. So I think what I'm just trying to say is I had a good experience, but I think that's something that might not have been widespread and maybe probably individual to my mentor based on what I've heard others say. So my recommendation to MultiPOD is so that there's kind of like a standardization of the program if possible. I know it's not possible because people are different, but one way I think to standardize that is to have a document, and in the beginning encouraging people to develop a plan, a solid plan, a timeline, and let them not just share that with their mentor, let them share that with the MultiPOD program admin. So that way you're checking that people are doing the stuff that they need to do, and that they're getting what they want out of the program. And they're not just at the beginning. So if you can do that at the 3 month mark, at the 6 month mark, at the 9 month mark, if you have that process of checking and evaluation. So you said you would do this at the beginning. Have you achieved this at 3 months? Have you achieved this at 6 months? So if people need to submit reports every quarter, that way it gives, I think it would give the mentor and the mentee something to look forward to, and like just be proactive, because there's that structure in place from the program coordinators that, oh, you need to get this done based on your plan. So I mean, I had a good experience, but I don't think it was widespread because it wasn't standardized that way. Yeah, but that's just.
Thank you for sharing that. What do others think about submitting a list of your goals that you want to achieve and your timeline for that to the MultiPOD cohort of this year, for example? Or maybe have submitted to the program, like to me or to Fernando, and then we keep it in the profile of the mentee.
I think it should be to the program. It doesn't have to be to the mentees. So people might not want to share. So it should be just a way of you, the program admin, checking. Because I mean, you're administrating the program, just check that people are getting what they need out of the program. But I don't think people need to share with others if they don't want to share.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. I think it's Portuguese.
Ainhoa. It's Spanish.
Ah, Spanish. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So, with building on some of the comments that were raised regarding, I think the last discussion point was regarding bringing on sharing our goals or sharing our trajectories or the timeline with the program. I think it, especially that element, that small task could be made a requirement, and as mentioned, standardized, because in a way, just having a roadmap of where you're going and not just like and not, because and not just like, and not just knowing what your short-term goals are, but also like keeping wide perspective of really what your worries will be after the more immediate goal has been resolved, I think is a nice exercise. Because, for example, in my experience, I am a mentor. I'm a mentee of this past year, and I remembered that at the beginning I was really excited to touch on very different topics, but then by the time I had done a few exercises on that, and my mentor was great in rephrasing things, in pinpointing what I was trying to say, because, as also mentioned by other mentees here, it's not always really easy to formulate what you really want to say. What really means that what it really means to know what you're looking for. So once those exercises had been done, I remember in the middle of the program, I realized, well, I don't know what's next now, because suddenly everything is going really well. And so I think maybe even something that would help, on top of making it a requirement, is even providing a template as the program organizers. Like, for me, when I was thinking of my trajectory, I was thinking, okay, maybe what would help me would be creating like some chart, some type of Gantt chart, but it's always harder to get it done if your page is blank, as opposed to there being spots to fill in. So maybe if this exercise was already created and was provided as a fill in the blank kind of exercise, I think it would be quite nice.
So what kind of template would that be? Because now we see that also some people are looking for a job, some people are finding their path, like what they have several options, career options, and they want, or some people want to graduate, some people want to publish a paper, some people are just generally lost in like this, because they just studied global health and they have multiple possibilities and they don't have any experiences yet. What do you think?
So my mentor once provided me with an Excel file which just divided people's professional skills and put them, like, I guess there were on one side there were professional skills, and but on the other side, like, their applicability to the job market, and how the words that those competencies are integrated into a job title. And then there were also there was also another category with general interests that weren't necessarily, or just like more softer skills that are not necessarily as technical and as like sometimes apparent in job titles. And there were ratings as to going from 0 to 5 as to how interested are you in this particular discipline, and what is your level of competency in this discipline? Do they match? And I thought that was quite nice to just get an idea of, well, we talk a lot about well, this is where I want to go and this is what I have, but we don't really talk about, like, maybe even quantifying and dividing those two things into categories of, for example, like, this is what we commonly call like a facilitator kind of job, but this is more an analytical kind of job, and just having those adjectives that are yeah, just having those adjectives that help you orient yourself with what each job kind of emphasizes on or enhances, I think was nice. So that was helpful. But what I meant initially was to have things even on a timeline. So seeing maybe completing that template I'm explaining right now at the beginning, and then seeing how it progresses with time, and seeing if your interests change over time. But I think it's really important to see how things change over time for sure.
Yes, thank you. Yes, if you see the message box, Ayodeji said the template should be generic and can have a section saying what are your goals for this mentorship program? What do you want to achieve in 9 months, etc. It should be easy for people to then state what they want and to tailor to their needs. So it shouldn't matter whether if one person is seeking educational opportunities or a job. It would be individualized, but at least having that common template would help with boxes to fill in. I think it's a great idea. Thank you. So I see 3 hands here, and Uchenna, you raised your hands before. Did you raise your hands again to elaborate on your previous point, or?
No, I just forgot to put my hand down. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. Okay, so I would invite Kim to go first, and then I would invite Catherine.
Hi, thanks. So something that I want to share that worked really well with my mentor was to divide, to do a like we did a work plan for the whole mentoring period, and we divided each session into 3 parts. So like the first part was kind of like my part where I shared my questions or where I shared problems that I'm currently encountering in my work, everything that is connected, like that comes from my side. And then we had a part where we're working together, and I think we worked together on my ikigai, we worked on an elevator pitch, etc., etc. So that middle part is always like a working together. And then in the end, my mentor was sharing some of the things he thought are super important for me to know, like networking, leadership styles, etc., etc. So that was a really great way of working, where I could ask my questions, but he could give me input from his side, and I really enjoyed that. So I think maybe that could help with a template.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, I think you had a really good experience, and I noted it down, and I will bring it to DZ as well to see if we can use that or interview that mentor and bring it to the whole program. Thank you. Catherine, would you like to share your experience?
Yes, thank you. So I had in general a very good experience. It was great. So just an overview on my background. I had some problems with my job before, and then I didn't know if I want to continue in this profession or if I want to change. So my mentor really helped me to understand what my needs are. And then we were kind of working on this also, ikigai, what are my goals in life, and this kind of stuff. We didn't have a roadmap. It was a little bit unstructured, but still it worked out. And then at the end, when we went to this part where we were talking about what opportunities I might have, he then linked me to different mentors. I think that I met with 6 different mentors, but also other mentees that had the same problems. And this was very good for me because he stepped down as a mentor. He was still my main mentor. I could always contact him anytime. And then after I met with all the other people, we met again and then evaluated also this step. So I think that a roadmap, just to underline what the others were saying, is very good, but then there should always be the possibility to reevaluate because the needs are changing. And I realized this for me. First, it was just about, do I really want to continue this job, or is it me who has problems with the job? It's not like these kind of questions, but at the end, I just realized, yeah, it's the job. Now I just have to look for different possibilities. And then he gave me all the options and to meet with other mentors, which was very, very good for me. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's great. So did you tell to your mentor, like, maybe can you introduce me to more people? I have this problem. I'm looking for this kind of advice. Someone. Okay, so you took that initiative, or?
Both. Like, it was at the beginning, it was more like I had the same problem that Nathan had, that I didn't know what to ask for. So my mentor helped me to understand what I need. And he also helped me to formulate these questions, like how to ask for the things that I need. And he came with the first idea, meeting with other people. So he helped me to, he always gave some suggestions on, you should meet up with this person because she has the same problem that you have, or this mentor is working in the same profession, for example. So he gave the suggestion, but it was me contacting the people then at the end. And maybe I was just very lucky also because these people were very open, and yeah, it was easy to meet with them.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Who else would like to share the experience? How about Natalia? Would you like to?
Hi. Yeah, I agree with some of the things that have been said previously. So just recently, I also experimented a bit of not exactly like what you just said, but like my mentor put me in contact with other people that they knew, and that kind of to with the purpose of networking a bit, and not much of also seeking mentorships from other people, but more like talking about my current situation and what I was looking for, and kind of establishing a bit of networking. So it actually really helped that my mentor has quite a big network, and that was really useful. In my case, I think having a very stiff structure or reports wouldn't have worked so much, because I think what was nice was that we could adapt it with the things that were coming up and the things that I was needing, let's say, because for me this was a year of transition, which I guess for many other young professionals it's also the case. So for me, it was, just to put an example, the beginning of the year, I was still working on my thesis. Then at some point I was graduating. Then at some point I was looking for a job. So it was really changing. And what was nice was that alongside the mentorship, then also our goals and the things we were talking about were also changing. And it was also very nice that then, for example, the month that I needed to deliver my thesis, then my mentor would have a bit more flexibility, and we would then talk a bit less often, because I was really busy with that, but then a bit more often in the times where we both had more time. So that was quite nice. A thing to consider potentially is I am in the Netherlands and my mentor is in Washington. So it's right now there's 6 hours of time difference, but because we both have, well, I have a very flexible schedule right now, and my mentor could also meet a bit during her work hours, then it worked. But I can really imagine that in some cases having a 6-hour time difference would really make it difficult to meet, because it's just not, yeah, it's hard. Like if you both have a day job where you cannot meet, then that's it, you're never going to be able to meet. So that's also something to take into account, but in our case it did work. At some point I saw just another one thing that came to my mind. I saw this email from MultiPOD saying, like, remember that you also can, if you want to, request to maybe have a meeting or two with other mentors from the program. And at that point I thought, oh, maybe that would have been nice a couple months ago when I was thinking of this and that, but now I don't know if it makes sense. So I kind of let it go, but that would be maybe something to encourage a bit more, I think. In my case, my mentor has a very different background, and that worked a lot because I have learned a lot from her. But maybe having a couple of conversations with someone with with similar career aspirations or similar background from the program, that you don't have to explain like this whole thing, oh, there's this program and this and that, then maybe that could have been also useful. But because it was quite late, I also thought, I don't know if it, if it made sense anymore, but just an idea. But yeah, I think that's most of my thoughts.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's a great idea to maybe for us to include also what is your time zone? Would you prefer some mentor or mentee in your time zone or close to your time zone? So that's more it's easier to arrange meetings. And also maybe we would have an earlier checking, like how your meetings are going. If you think if you and your mentor is a match, or would you like to look for another mentor? I think that's something that we can do. Nathan, I see you raising your hand.
Yeah, I was just gonna share one observation I've had sitting here listening to this, which is just listening to you all talk has been incredibly helpful for me, because it's helped me realize like what other people's experience in the program has been like. I feel like I was kind of like Natalia when I got that. I'm like, yeah, that might be nice, but I don't know how that's gonna work out. And I think that information of like what I could expect from getting experiences with other mentors would have been more helpful for me in making that kind of decision. My mentor was very relaxed. Like we'd open up Teams and he'd just be like, so what questions do you have? And all of it was on me to just kind of take the ball and go from there. So knowing that there are other people that were a little bit more structured earlier on, and either asking him to be more structured with me or kind of seeking out people who could help me find a little bit more of that structure. Personally, that would have been helpful for me. Yeah, so I just wanted to share that observation.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Who else would like to say something? I see, for example, Jessica, you haven't said anything, but before that, Claudia, would you like to add something?
Yeah, just to add quick reflections as well. I think what's really clear to me is that actually like we learn so much from each other and like as being mentees. And I think having a dimension of the program which really sort of fosters those conversations and like matches between mentees as well and people who are going through the exact same thing as you is actually going to be equally useful as someone who's sort of, you know, a lot further down the line in their careers, like 10 years or 15 years down the line. So I think that could also be integrated and pretty easily, I think. But yeah, that's just another reflection from me.
Thank you. Yes, it's also, we're also thinking, for example, like every 2 months, every 3 months, have one session where mentees can gather together and share their experiences, their struggles, their inspirations, and their advice for each other. So I think that would be something we'll send that email out to everyone and see when we can do that next year, for example. Yeah. Jessica.
I hadn't piped up yet because honestly, I had a bit of a different experience than everybody else. I didn't, my first mentor never responded, unfortunately. And so then I went to Fernando and we had a good chat. And I think in the end, Fernando kind of became my mentor by default, because I kind of kept getting passed around to a bunch of different people. So I didn't really have the same structure. I didn't really have the same monthly meetings. Like I think I met with Fernando 2 or 3 times. And honestly, I think we're just friends at this point, which is great. And I love it. And I met a lot of interesting people along the way. He passed me off to a lot of interesting mentors along the way. I think to kind of echo what everybody else is saying, I think one of the most valuable things that I got out of this was kind of a networking experience and getting to meet different people in different disciplines and learn a lot about the various organizations that are out there. And I think one of the things that I would have really liked out of this program is the chance to kind of talk to other mentees in more of an informal setting. So just having a Facebook group with everybody so we could just chat, or having something similar where we can kind of just get to know other people and these are future professionals that we're all going to be working with. So it'd be lovely to have kind of networking opportunities with everybody. And then also having space where where we can chat with mentors and chat with different mentors and maybe do it in a bit of a more informal setting. So it's not just, I find in the big Skype meetings, the problem is that I speak and then I will say my bit and then someone else will speak and they will say their bit, as opposed to all of us talking naturally, which you get more in person, obviously, but given the global distance, it's not necessarily possible always. Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Thank you. Yeah, I think so now we have a LinkedIn group, and I invite everyone to join it. Like it's more than, I think that can serve as in like a bridge between the mentors and mentees, and that's more formal. And for example, you can introduce yourself there and ask for advice or network there. Then also, we don't have a Facebook group yet, and some people also suggested if we could have a WhatsApp group. I think personally, I think maybe WhatsApp is a little bit more intrusive, but then at the same time, Facebook is like social media, and then you see people's profiles more. So I'm here to listen to your preferences. Like, would you like to have a Facebook group or WhatsApp group or Telegram group, Signal group? Feel free to tell me here now or to email me as well. Yeah, so definitely the networking opportunities for mentees is a great idea. We'll do that. Yeah, so who else would like to go next? How about Maxime or Jess?
Hi everyone.
Yeah.
So I'll just go ahead. So I'm so sorry I joined the meeting quite late, so I didn't get all your feedback. But I think what worked well with me and my mentor is that I consciously selected someone within my city when I saw one within my city, because I was thinking I'm kind of, with the COVID pandemic, kind of looking for more personal relationships with my mentor. So after the lockdown was finished, we started having like coffee dates every week or every 2 weeks. So I guess that's one of the things that really worked well with me is, and my mentor, like Nathan, we're quite relaxed. We don't have a structure, but then with our conversations and with our both of our goals, we came up with another goal, and now we're working on a research on vaccine hesitancy. So I guess what I'm trying to say is sometimes having an unstructured conversation or dialogue with my mentor also worked well in my benefit. So I maybe feedback. I agree with having more networking opportunities with mentees and mentors. Most of you were talking about a shared template in terms of our personal and professional goals. And I guess being in this mentorship program, our mentors have this sense that some of us are looking for work. So I guess that's majority of us. And maybe the program can pre-plan some webinars on employment opportunities, how to look for employment, how to write a CV, because I guess that's most of the goals. And maybe invite someone from different field, or like every 3 months we can have infectious disease conference or something like that, where mentors and mentees can share their research, can share their experiences, and or like every 3 months there can be an M&E or monitoring and evaluation conference where we can share our skills. I guess what we can work better for next year is just having regular check-ins, regular networking opportunities with both the mentors and the mentees. and having a LinkedIn or Facebook group is a start, because then we can then share invites for certain conferences, because now we have like more virtual conferences anyway. So if anyone is working in vaccine hesitancy or particularly on this field, I'm inviting you to maybe we can have a conversation so we can talk about this research that we're working in. So thank you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, I think definitely we will think of a platform. We will decide on a platform to have this mentees network. Yeah, Slack. I see Natalia suggested Slack. I also use Slack. I don't know if everyone uses Slack, but so our ideas now we have like Slack, WhatsApp, and Facebook. So feel free to also just vote already in this chat box and let me know. And email me or email me later. So Maxime, would you like to share with us your experience?
Yeah, with pleasure. So me, I did the program last year, not this year. Was a very good experience, and it is true that I would have like similar remark to what I've been said before. Actually, nothing really new, but for me, one thing, it was a really good experience because I had the chance to give a small webinar inside of the program, and I think that was a really very interesting moment because I could speak with Fernando and other people from the program about how to present and create small activity with a group, something like that, and that was really nice. And I think it was not something was really in the program normally or something like that. So that was a good experience. After, for the mentoring part, it's true that me, I really like when there is structure, and I felt a bit lack of structure. And so we had a great talk with my mentor, but at the end, as we didn't follow any structure, at some point I start to have less talk with him because I didn't really know where we could go once we explore a bit the big topic about the public guy. I presented what I did, but once I did the small activity where inside of the mentoring module, I think there is a list on the website. I felt a bit lost. And okay, what can we do next? And I think I would have been happy to have a group with other mentees to speak again. So same thing. So that for me was something also to keep contact maybe because now I finished the program 1 year ago, and it's true that I didn't really create a link with people from the program. Also, it was the COVID period, so it was maybe a bit particular. But that's something I miss, and maybe I should have also do it on my side by myself. But it's true that if there is already something existing, it might help and push a bit people to create a real community around the MultiPOD. So that's what I have to say.
Thank you very much. So is there anyone else who would like to share something? I will invite DZ in a few minutes. Okay, I don't see anyone raising hands, so I will invite DZ back in. And also, if you'd like, you can always email me if you have feedback or suggestions. So DZ is coming in. Hi, DZ. Hi, DZ. Maybe he didn't know that.
No, I'm back. I'm back.
Yes, so we had a really great discussion. We had lots of ideas. I took notes. So I think I will debrief with you later, maybe. Would you like to share your slides?
Okay.
I know you have a closing speech.
Okay. Oh, you need to enable my screen again.
Yes, okay.
Right, left.
You echo host.
Thank you, everybody.
And your camera is off. Would you like to try it?
Okay, again. Still off. Let me see.
I think your camera is still
yes,
off.
yes. Okay. Now, are
Yeah.
we okay now?
Yes, all good.
Okay. Well, my friends, thank you very much. I'm sure that your advice will be very helpful. Next year is the next lustrum, the next 5 years, and we really need it for you as the last class of the first 5 years to give us your input. We have received input from everybody in the previous years. I hope you went through all of this and that you have some advice for us regarding the expansion, the changes that we need to make, the mentor selection and methodology. That's really, really important to do better matching and to monitor what everything is going on. And then the last one, this multi-country, interdisciplinary, transgenerational core group and network. And this is what I wanted to show you. These are our mentees. They will come through the funnel that is the program, and then they will be distributed in your countries. This is the network that we're talking about. But in 2018, we tried to start a think tank, a collective intelligence called MultiPOD Young Thinkers and Innovators. That was in May of 2018. We were not ready, or the young people were so busy, they were not ready. The next year, with a group of mentees of that year and previous years, they started the Coalition for Global Health Innovation. Charlie is part of the executive committee of that coalition, and she may answer your questions, but I will encourage you to join them. They have a different mission and purpose than what I'm going to propose to you. So we started this, and then they are here, and as Gibran Halil says, your children are not your children. Your children are the children of tomorrow. And if you love them, let them go. So they are now independent and they are working on their stuff. But what I'm going to talk to you about is this TIME group, the Transgenerational Interdisciplinary Multi-Country Earth Group. And we're going to start next year with a core group of about 10 people. And we plan to extend at the end of 22, beginning of 23, into this real network. Now, I want to show you this because this was the meeting in Berlin. We took advantage of the World Health Summit in October of 2019, and you can see the group, which is quite representative of the people that we have in the program. Most of them young women, from different countries. We have Egypt, we have Nigeria, we have Peru, we have Egypt, we have Finland, Mexico, Sweden, etc., etc. This is Kenya, and here, see if you can identify this lady, Charlie from China. Okay, so this is what we had, and the way they started their coalition. Now, I want to give you some advice, and this is my last intervention. You have probably read some of my blogs. Most people haven't read them, but this is what we expect from you. This is what you need to do in the next 5 or 10 years. First, as we try to emphasize, you need to find your ikigai, your mission, your vocation, your passion, your profession. Many of you already have an idea or already have clarity because you have your ikigai is complete. But your ikigai is going to change. And sometimes it will take a long time. For me, it took almost 50 years to find. I found my mission at a very early age. I found my vocation also at a very early age. My passion was global health, and now my passion is mentoring. And this is now my profession. I'm full-time dedicated to this. But there are also things that you have to bear in mind. You will have technical authority. And that has a responsibility because people are going to listen to you and ask you questions. And you will have the security, the assertiveness to tell them what you need to tell them. That's the technical authority, based on evidence, your knowledge, your experience, etc., etc. Credibility is not only derived from your technical authority, but from your reliability. If you promise to do something, you're going to do it. If something needs to be done, you will do it because you are reliable, you're responsible, you are committed. And this is the area where many of us are not so good. So I emphasize that this is something that you have to have. People will come to you with problems. So you need to develop that ability to solve problems. How do you define a problem? How do you know if it's the problem, the real problem? How do you think about the causes of that problem? The causes of the causes of the causes of that problem. Because many times we try the easy solution at the end where the problem is a problem. This is the essence. And you're going to be consultants. Bear that in mind. Some people are going to ask you, oh, why don't you go to Eswatini and help us with this program? And you will do that at some point in your career. The art of persuasion. This is essential. And in global health, many of us concentrate on our technical authority and do not take into account that we need to convince people to join our cause or to solve a problem or to give us financial support, etc., etc. And for that, you need not only the arguments of logic of your profession, of your technical knowledge, you also need to convince them from a pathos, the sentiments, the feelings, but also from the sense of equity, of justice. And also, if you are practical, what's in it for the decision maker? I mean, the politician, oh, people are going to love you if you do this. But also something that I call the power of hope. Bear this in mind, the power of possibility, the power of probability, the power of fate. Can this happen? What are the chances that this will happen? And how will we see in the future? Resilience. You are going to be wounded. At age 54, I lost everything I had. My program, my people, etc., etc. But you have to recover and keep going. And you will go to work with your heart broken, but you will continue working because that's what gives you resilience. And next time your thick will be thicker and you will be able to succeed. Creativity, invention, imagination, intelligence. When people say, oh, I'm going to build outside of the box, why not build your own box and let ideas come in and out and disseminate your ideas? My friends, you are so smart. You have no idea. That's why you are in the program. You're so smart. And I'm happy that you don't realize that yet. Humanity, please, 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 be profoundly human. We don't want devils, but we don't want saints. Please accept the fact that sometimes you will do something that you know goes against your principles, but you will have to do it sometimes. Or maybe, I hope, maybe never. But sometimes you will have something and you will say, oh, why did I do that? You are human. I put here fervency and anger because all of us are passionate and we say, oh, I'm very passionate about this and that. Sometimes you will need more than that. You need a cause, something that you will pursue till the end of your time and your strength. And anger is not to be furious or to hate somebody. but sometimes it's the only way to social justice. So I want you to keep those in mind, because this is what you are going to be, and this is what you are. And you are going to realize that little by little. Now, this is practical. Everyday tools, writing skills. The writing that I see, not in your thesis or scientific documents, because that's very carefully written, but the way you communicate. For us, the old people, it is atrocious. It's horrible, the way you communicate. But we must realize that is part of the evolution of the language. And in 10 years, everybody will be communicated by you, because you are pioneers of this new language. You is a you and R, etc., etc. Because you communicate like that. Effective verbal communication. Number one fear of people, to speak in public. Oh, I'm going to be so bad, and I start stuttering, and I don't know, and I go blank. My friends, the secret to that is pretend that you are an actor or an actress, because you know your stuff. So don't be afraid, because you will be somebody else. Somebody else will speak for you. Time navigation. People talk about time management. Time cannot be managed. Time doesn't care about you. It's like the ocean. The ocean doesn't care about you. You should care about time and the ocean. That's what I call it navigation. How do you navigate your time? And don't feel desperate, and don't be hopeless, and don't feel bad. And I never liked the word procrastination, because the procrastination, what we call procrastination, is the end result of something else. So investigate what sometimes doesn't let you do what you know you have to do, that you must do. I don't like doing this. Once you know what is it, you can overcome that and do what you need to do. Professional body language. I don't need to say too much about that, but this is especially important for young women in the past environment and in the current environment. Because, and I say that many times, I had a boss, a very short woman, very, very smart. But when we had meetings, the table came here and all the other guys were here. So I told her, why don't you raise your chair? And then you will be like this. And that made a difference in the way people reacted to her. Interpersonal flexibility. Oh, this person is so difficult. Well, maybe you are the difficult one. You don't know that. And that is the number one, the personalities. If you are a boss or if you are working on a team, this is your number one difficulty every day, because you interact with other people all the time. And sometimes you hate, or they hate you, or you don't like, or you dislike, etc. Not everybody likes everybody. Political sensitivity. What is politics if not power? How do you access, use, and maintain power? And this happens not only among politicians, but among couples, families, friends. You are all the time trying to assert your own power of any kind, good power, bad power, etc. And you have to be aware of that. Environmental awareness. I'm not talking about only the physical, planetary environment, but your institutional environment, the culture that prevails in your organization. My organization is like an army. The big boss, the director, can do whatever she wants. And you can do whatever you want. The orders, everybody has to obey you. But other organizations like the CDC are more horizontal, and you have no problem. The secretaries call you familiar name. Hi, Fernando, how are you? How, Rocio, how are you, etc., etc. And the diversity acceptance. And this is tough. This is really tough because many times we pretend that we accept other people. But go back centuries. I against my brother and I against our cousin, my brother and I against our neighbor, our cousin, my brother and I against the foreigner. That's something so ingrained. I mean, and that's the reason for wars, etc., etc. So this is something I wanted to tell you. And the last one, because you must be tired by now. My friends, this is your world. You're in charge. And that's why we need, I think, a transgenerational intelligence network. Interdisciplinary, multi-country, transgenerational. And these are you, my friends. These are you. Now, there's networking and there's net weaving. Networking is what all of us do. Net weaving is when you have a host, somebody who invites people and make them participate in a network or something that will work. And I encourage you to do that. You are going to be weaving. What are you going to be weaving? A blend of intelligence and talent. Here, young people, realize that you were blessed. You had nothing to do with that. But there are thousands and thousands and thousands of years inside you, your genes that gave you your intelligence. Now you need to apply it. You need to apply it. And you also have talent. Why don't we rely only on your wonderful academic or professional record? And we ask you about ethics, about values, about if you have any special talent. And if you are an athlete, welcome, because you are a well-rounded human being. If you play violin, if you sing, if you can cook, I mean, there are so many talents and we want those talents. And that's why in the website, we have a place, the salon, where we are going to highlight the talent of our people, mentees and mentors, because I'm so proud of the people we have been able to attract into the program. It's going to be a network of ideas and actions. That's what I want. That's what we need. Well-rounded professionals. You are not only an architect. You are not only an engineer. You are not only a physician or a nurse. You are more than that. And finally, a tapestry of disciplines, countries, and generations. And I would like to start that in 2022. And this is exactly what I'm envisioning. My friends, you are in charge of the planet. I'm gone, I'm on my way out. But now, for the next 50 years, you are going to be responsible for what happens. And my last words to you is, please get in touch with us, participate with us. If you know somebody who is almost as good as you, a friend, classmates, people, not only mentees, but mentors, please invite them to the program. We're going to accept 70 new people and about 10 people who wish to continue or come back to the program because they need to achieve their goals, etc. And here's the application period, starts on November, has already started, and ends on January 31st. And they can apply through our website. 2 secrets. I have ulterior motives. I have ulterior motives. The reason you are in the program is not only because you are investing, we are giving you something, etc. you are also giving us your enthusiasm, your knowledge, respect, your admiration, the validation of our lives. But we are investing on you because we know, I know deep in my heart that 10, 20% of you are going to have a real impact on the world, a real impact. And many times it will go unnoticed or will be anonymous. People, you won't become famous, but you will know when you're 80 or 90 and you look back at your life, this is what I did. So all of you are going to be successful. There's no doubt about it. No doubt. No doubt. But 10% of you are going to do something that will change. When people say, oh, I want to change, I want to make an impact. My friend, I'm serious. That's what you are going to do. Well, thank you for participating. We are going to listen to what you have said. We will do our best to follow your recommendations and your advice and make the program better for the class of 2022. Charlie is our assistant coordinator. So there's also a generational gap. I communicate with the old people better, and she communicates with all of you much better than I can. I'm always available, including weekends, always available because you are my life, okay? But Charlie will be able to understand much better, will be able to give you advice or direction of orientation, and I hope that you will continue to be in touch with us. Well, thank you very much. And Charlie, I won't tell you who is going to have an impact because I don't want her or him. No. But I will be watching you from another planet the next 10 or 20 years. And I will make sure that you do what you can do. Thank you very much. And we're going to send you an evaluation. Takes 5 minutes. And the deadline is December the 30th at noon, your local time. So when you are having breakfast that day, you can have your telephone or your computer and answer the 11 questions, which are very easy. Okay, so please give us that feedback, which will be a written feedback that we can then use both for promotional issues, professional purposes, and also because we really want to be a better program. Thank you very much. Thank you, Charlie, for the coordination of everything. And she's going to tell me only the good parts. No, everything. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining.
Bye. So let's leave.